Good morning and welcome back to another video. As you guys might have been aware, the Diana V2 update has rolled out, and as of recording this, the first full event has passed and gone by. And if you know anything about our channel, well, fun fact, we did a lot of Diana. There's a lot to go over in this video, all the loot, my opinion on the update, all types of stuff, and I really want to talk about it all as this is an update I'm quite passionate about, and honestly an update that I have a lot of good and some bad things to say about. Not to mention, I also made an insane amount of money and just got a bunch of loot that I want to show off, so that's also cool. Before I get into anything though, if you are ever checking out on the Hypixel store, please make sure to use code CANDY for 5% off your order. It really does mean a lot and helps us create more stupid videos like these. And hey, you should also check if you're subscribed. A few things that I do want to say, first of all, is that my setup hasn't really changed from previous Dianas. If you are curious of what I use throughout the whole event, it is nothing more than just a 3/4 Crimson set along with a Crown of Avarice. It's nothing special, and then for Magic Find, you just go ahead and swap the Sorrow with the Avarice as it gives the most Magic Find. And with those two armor sets and this data displayed right here, that's all you really need to do the event. But let it be known that the setup from previous Dianas hasn't really changed gameplay wise. I did go ahead and swap out my FT weapon. You'll see me craft this later on, but I now have a Fatal Tempo Prime Hunt Axe. TLDR, this just makes killing mobs with Veracity a lot easier and makes it very consistent to get your Veracity in order for the pet rule to work.
Alright y'all, I'm just going to jump in here to finish this first part of the video because Pat is currently on vacation. Real quickly, I just wanted to talk about the new mobs that come along with the Diana V2 event. First of all, there is the Stranded Nymph, who is pretty basic, doesn't have much going for it, not crazy drops. It does drop the washed up souvenir now, so this is a new way to obtain that item, but besides that, this is a pretty ignorable mob. There is also the Creighton Bull, which also does not have many very significant drops. It does drop the Creighton Urn, which can be turned into some new pet items, but again, nothing crazy. We also have the Harpy, which once again, not very significant. Antique remedies from this mob. And then finally, for the two important mobs, we have the Manticore, which has two big drops. The Manticore, the titular Manticore, which can be used to craft the Manticore Claw, which is a very powerful glove item, as well as the Fateful Stinger, which can be used to obtain the Venomous 7 enchant, which is nice because we need this for hypermaxing weapons now. And then finally, the big guy that you've seen in all the thumbnails is King Minos, and what he drops is the Shimmering Wool. Now this is the most expensive drop you can get from Diana, and what it is used for is to create the Golden Fleece. What's the Golden Fleece? And it is a cloak that is used specifically for Diana. It also has some nice combat stats for outside of Diana, but if you look at the perks, 15 tracking on Griffin Burrows is a lot. That increases your odds to get rare creatures, as well as the extra magic find. This is overall the best cloak whenever you're doing Diana, and you'll definitely want to get your hands on this drop. Another thing that was added with the update is the mythological die, as you can see here. It has anywhere from a 1 in 1 million to a 1 in 10,000, depending on the mob chance of rolling. You can see the actual odds per mob here, and stick around to see if maybe we dropped one of these. There is also another fish item that comes along with the update. It is unfortunately not here on the wiki, but I will say that Pat did not drop one of these. They are insanely rare. Another thing that is very important to mention is the tracking stat that was added, and basically what this is the perk that you got from getting E-Man level 9, but it's turned into an actual stat now. So what it does is it increases the chance for elusive mobs to spawn, stuff like the Skate to the Diamond Goblin, as you can see here. And these are all the sources of it, and the goal is to max as much tracking as possible because this increases your chance to get rare mobs like the Inquisitor and the Manticore and King Minos. And the last thing I want to mention before I send you back to Pat is just that the current max magic find is 512, which is where Pat sat right around for most of the event. And anyways, I will send you back to him for the rest of the video.
Alright, good morning and welcome back to All the Loot. Didn't think I'll be saying this so soon after the first Diana, but we are back with a bunch of loot. As you can see, all these chests right behind me are lined up with loot, and granted, there is a fuck ton to go over, a lot more than previous Dianas because there's just a lot more drops. So before I talk about anything else, we're just gonna go straight into the money. The first thing to talk about is this big line of chests compared to everything else, and these are filled with a total of 525 Hilts of Revelations. I don't know why I specifically held on to all these for the video's sake. There's a pain in the ass to sort these. As you can see, they NPC for 150k. But yeah, clearly you get way too many of these considering you only could craft 2 different things, or my bad, 3 different things with these. In total, this is around 79 mil in Hilts. Moving on, we have some shards in the chest. Nothing too crazy. In total, these go for around 35 mil. mil. And I'm not going to count these, but I also got 2 rune books on the first day, and these go for like 5 million coins. Next up, we have in this chest 6 braided griffin feathers. These are a new drop if you have the best of the best spade, and they are extremely rare to get. Out of all the people in my party, I think I dropped 3 times the amount as the guy next up. So it's kind of insane I got 6. It's not worth that much. It's only 107 million coins. But as you can see, there are 2 other drops that you could get from this that actually matter. Those being the griffin feathers and mytho fragments. Now I didn't put these in chests, but as you can see, I do have a lot in my sack. All these did not come from the event. Only 4,309 came from the actual event, which is still roughly 375 million coins. But the more important thing over here to the right is all the mytho fragments. Now I only have 315 here because I did use a lot and I did sell a lot during the event. In total, I got a whopping 507 mytho fragments during the whole event. And at current prices, I could sell all of those for 2.3 billion coins. This is a crazy thing as these will always be in constant demand. Granted, throughout multiple events, I could see them dropping to probably 2 mil, let's say 2 to 3 events from now. But this definitely was one of the best things for money from this event. Not to mention, that is assuming that I sold all of these at 4.5 mil, which is not the case. During the beginning of the event, these went for a lot more, and as you can see, I actually kept some of the auctions around just to show some proof. These aren't the highest sellers, but as you can see, I sold multiple here, all for 25 mil. I sold a lot in the 30s as well, and even more proof, right as I got into the bazaar, I was selling some for over 9 million coins, over 8 million, whatever. So who knows how much I actually made total from mytho fragments, but it's a lot more than the 2.3 billion I'm saying. I'm just using that number as I cannot tell you how much total I made. Just know I made a lot more. Moving on, we have an item that previously I always deleted, but now actually have a value, and those are antique remedies. In total, I have 87 from this event, and they actually sell for more than the NPC price for 450k per, meaning I made roughly 39 mil from these. Next up, we have tiger plushies, which I have 41 of these, and this is around 16 mil. 2 more useless drops, we have 109 shellmets and 105 souvenirs, as well as 90 Cretan urns. These all pretty much just go for NPC price. Moving on, we have 5 Datalistics only. In previous events, I would have probably a double chest, but they made these a lot more rare now. So next up, another new drop, we have Brain Food, in which I have 14, which sells for currently 400 mil, and these will probably only rise days after the event. Next up, we have Crowns, which are actually worth more. I put the price in my calculations at 2.5 mil, as currently they are pretty low. They will spike again, I'm sure of it. So roughly, I would say 50 million in crowns. Next up, we have the new Reforge of Venomous 7, and this total comes out to 231 mil, dropping 6 of these, which is kind of impressive. Now we are moving on to the final segment of actually rare drops. We have 3 Minos relics, which are still worth 70 million coins per, and even after all of this, I still only dropped 3. These things are just impossible to get. I hate it. Another new drop from this event, we have Manticores. I dropped 2 during this event. Currently, they're going for 400 mil. I don't believe that, as they were selling for 100 mil literally yesterday. So I'm just gonna roughly say that these are worth 250 million coins per now that the event's over. And yes, one of them I actually crafted into the claw just for museum's sake. It's fully useless. In fact, this equipment piece right here, the Magma Lord Gauntlet, is better by a long shot. So I don't know why this is 400 mil. For the first time ever, we finally have more than a double chest of Chimera books. It only took them increasing the drop rate, but here we are. We have a whopping 59 Chimera books. In total, this sells for 3.77 billion coins. As you can see, 64 million a book, a lot less than previous videos where they were going for 130 mil. So it's not as much as before, but still, nearly 4 billion coins in Chimera books is insane. And finally, the last main drop that people probably care about the most, and frankly I do, is the Shimmering Wool, which has now turned into my Golden Fleece, as well as the Mythological Dye, which no one probably cares about, but I do. The wool now only goes for around 650 mil, compared to the 2 billion it costed when I originally dropped it, and then the Mytho Dye is 40 mil, but I mean, I just care that I have a new dye for my collection. With all the loot, there's one more thing that I actually made money off of, and that is through scav coins. If you guys are unaware, the Crown of Avarice got changed into where it's pretty much only a Diana helmet, meaning that normally you had to grind 1 billion coins through Scavenger to put onto the helmet, but now the only coins that count to the helmet are through the mythological event. My crown originally had 40 million coins on it, and now it is at 1 billion. On top of that, I have a 65 million coin purse just from Scavenger throughout the rest of the event after it got to after it got to 1 billion. Now these helmets do sell for a lot. I actually had a friend who sold 2 of these for 3.5 billion coins each. Now I do think that is a bit of an overpay, so I'm gonna go ahead and round down to say that from Scavenger, if I were to theoretically sell this helmet, I would have made 1.5 billion coins in Scavenger, just by leveling helmets up to 1 billion and then selling them off to somebody else. That means in total from the Diana V2 event, spending 63 hours doing this event in the past 5 days, I have made 10.4 billion coins. This means if you divide that total by 63, I averaged 165 million coins an hour. Which yeah, still proves my point that Diana is currently and will probably always be the best money making method in Hypixel Skyblock. Now granted, there is a huge buy-in, or at least was, to originally get into the event. As you guys saw, when I upgraded my Griffin pet, I had to pay 30 million coins of fragment, in other words around 1.5 billion coins for the pet upgrade, which now you could buy in the bazaar for 245 million coins. Though I did lose a lot of money there, but granted, I also dropped stuff like the wool on the first day, so maybe I would have never dropped that if I never bought the pet that early. Now there are a few other things I want to talk about other than just the loot. First of all, we could look into my Beastiary, and sadly, you are not able to max out all these mobs in a reasonable amount of time. I got the Stranded Nymph up to level 19, 300 kills away from max, leaving me at number 29 ranking. Sphinx, I killed almost 900 of these, leaving me at number 39 in the world. Inquisitors alone, I killed 1.5 thousand of these. These are including loot share. In case you were wondering, that leaves me at 42nd. Another Beastiary I didn't max were the Cretan Bulls, which I only got to 90% of the way there, though I am number 28 for it. Harpy, this one is the worst by far, losing lead to Bull by 700 kills. I need to do a pretty much whole nother event to max this out, and I am only 36th for it. Kinda shocking that 36 people have more than this. And finally, the two important ones, the Manticore, I have 317 kills in, leaving me at number 9, and finally the Minos King, which I have 335 kills in, leaving me at number 6. I really hate this, as you can see here with the loot. A Crown of Greed is a 2%, and the Shimmering Wool is only labeled as a rare drop, being a 0.2, and with some simple math, for every 10 crowns I drop, I should have gotten 1 wool. And well, I got 20 Grounds of Greed and only 1 fucking wool, so I'm kinda mad. Overall, though I had some pretty big doubts going into this update was honestly really fun, and I could really see myself doing more Diana events in the future. Granted, I still need a max XP. I'm 10 XP off away from max, just from Beastiary, and that's it. And not to mention the mythological ritual perk shop, you still can't get as Carnival is yet to be elected, but nothing I could really do about that. The only big things that I hate about this update, firstly, is the fact that for some reason the Mythos armor is still useless. This originally gave me hope, as if you put it on, it does say you get 15 magic find from mythological mobs, but this 15 magic find is not affected by the renowned perk, as an example, giving 1% extra magic find. So even though it is a lot better, and you should be using this during the mythological event as it gives double the armor stats and reduces your damage taken, you are still stuck, if you want the most magic find, using Sorrow armor. And I think it's by like 8 magic find too, so it is kind of important. Not to mention, to my knowledge, I also think that loot share is bugged. For a lot of the mobs, you don't get a loot share message after you loot share it, which either means that maybe you just didn't roll for the drop and that's how loot share is now, it just won't show you a message, or that loot share is bugged and only works like 70% of the time, which is just kind of stupid, but whatever. There's also one more big bug that I kind of thought was funny, which doesn't matter to me, but the lynxes are kind of bugged in the way that they are killed. Because of the Crimson Swipe ability, it says I only killed 1.3k, which is not accurate at all. Compare that to another mob with a similar rate. As an example, I have more Inquisitor kills this event than I do lynxes, and that also shows with drops. For example, all of these other pet item drops I have more than a double chest of, and then for tiger plushies I just have the one not even filled. Thankfully, I don't need the Beastiary, and it doesn't really matter because oh no, I missed out on 10 million tiger plushies, but it is just kind of funny. Overall, this event was really fun. I'm really glad that I ended up dropping the mythological die. I'm not gonna lie, it makes it that I never have to forcefully come back to this event if I wanted to, as more than likely, I would say roughly 5 events from now, there's no way that this makes 160 million coins an hour. It'll probably average around to eventually like 100 million coins an hour, which is still good, but nowhere near how much it was in the old Diana and how much it is just plainly right now. Also, something I low-key forgot to mention and just remembered, I did sell Diana bookshelves throughout this whole event. It's like roughly 100 million coins total of profit that I got, but nothing to really write home about. So now, hopefully my goal is I could sell all the stuff before the next Diana, otherwise I'm fucked, as all this will probably go down right as she gets put back into office. So that's what I'm gonna spend the rest of my days doing. Anyway, that is it. I'm gonna have fun selling all this stuff. Goodbye.